What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Joe, the Juggernaut Joyce, Martin, Bakole. Get this. You guys recall the story that broke about Martin Bakole stating that he stopped Joe Joyce and Alexander Usyk back maybe a few weeks ago, as you guys can see from the cover. If you guys didn't see that, check it out. I'll leave the link below. But anyhow, the heavyweight Martin Bakole claimed that he did this to these two top fighters. And what we have now, I'm like, show me. Half of my people are from Missouri, so Missouri's a show me state. So get this. We have actual footage of leaked sparring where Martin Bakole's name has been thrown around, and he's claimed to do a number on Joe Joyce. He said now there's proof, at least, of Nelson's rumors is true, with leaked footage on social media showing the 29-year-old Neon punch the head guard off of Joe Joyce. So let's take a look here and see what's going on. Okay. All right, here we go.
That's it, right? You're right.
Ooh, good left hook.
That's fine.
Man, he's not. Oh! Whoa! Ho, 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 ho. Wow! Okay, then. Yeah, that was a vicious exchange, as you guys seen. Those guys were throwing leather, and it just goes to show you, though. I mean, he knocked the guard off. That was a hard punch. But listen, I didn't see Joe Joyce stopped. I didn't see Joe Joyce really hurt. I seen the head guard fly off. So yeah, it's time to put it back on. This is sparring. It's not a pro fight. You know what I mean? But these guys were throwing leather, as you guys can see. You know what I mean? And it just shows you Martin Bakole is not a fast guy either, but I think his style is all wrong for Joe Joyce. Why? Because Joe Joyce was getting, some punches in. He was throwing the shots himself. He was working the jab, but Martin Bakole was a guy that is not as fast as most heavyweights, but he's fast enough to punch in between those punches of Joe Joyce. And he's consistent, okay? He's consistent with that. Now, the only thing is, would that happen in a pro fight? How good is his gas tank? At this point, something? It really don't matter. Why? The gas tank ain't the factor no more for Joe Joyce. The whole thing about Joe Joyce is he could take the punch from most heavyweights, because we see he can. We seen what happened last week, but we also seen what happened last week. He started to swell. He started to get penetrated. He started to show signs of swelling, and that swelling was too much for everyone else to bear, right? So I think it wouldn't go anyway to 12 rounds if he was getting hit like that, like I saw, because Zhilei Zhang was doing the same thing. Bars. He was putting that leather together, throwing punches in bunches, and I think that will eventually swell Joe Joyce up. So Joe Joyce has to protect himself, not from getting knocked out, but from becoming too damaged for his eyesight to continue, because those refs, those doctors will instruct those referees to stop the damn fight. Okay, so yeah, that was quite impressive. But it's always something that's exaggerated, like, yeah, I stopped him, and I stopped Usyk. Well, and if that's the case, I don't think, if that happened, I'm not saying, and I'm not calling him a liar, but what I am saying, you won't see that anyway. You won't see footage of Bakole dropping or stopping Usyk. You wouldn't do that. I mean, you wouldn't see that. I would dare somebody to release it. That would be big. That would be big. You know what I mean? Not clips, just the whole freaking thing. Just to see what happened, you know what I mean? Like, will you see something like a Dillian White getting knocked out by Povetkin type of thing, in sparring, though? So it's quite interesting, to see those guys bang like that. I enjoyed, the footage itself. It was lit. It was nice. I would love to see a fight between these two now, looking at what I see sparring wise. That's why, though, if you go back and you look and you think about certain fights that were classics, look at Triple G and you look at Canelo Alvarez. Triple G and Canelo Alvarez sparred years ago, like back probably in maybe '08, I think it was. And I think someone was getting prepared for someone. Maybe I think they brought him in for, no, that was a little later. One of their fights they were preparing for, and they went spar and they went head to head, and like Golovkin, and they were going toe to toe, and sadly we have no footage. Nobody will release this shit. I think at this point it should be released, right? Like, you should want to release some stuff with those two in it. I don't think it should just be like, oh yeah, if it's alive and it's out there and it's, what I mean, let it out. Because we've seen 3 fights with these two guys. I don't think a sparring session would really matter. But will it? Because I did hear Triple G definitely get the best of Canelo. When he hit Canelo, it stiffened his legs up and stuff like that. It's just, I think, I think that was all the reason for all the waiting, for Golovkin to get a certain age. Let him get a little bit too, over the top or over the hill or whatever, past that aura of invincibility or whatnot. So I really think, that really appetized us for those 3 fights. But anyway, again, you guys tell me of this footage between Martin Bakole knocking the headgear off of Joe Joyce. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!